have your company as well. The cost of milk just keeps rising. Prices have gone up 8% in 2 years at a time when they've gone down in other parts of the world. We're paying more for milk than Australians and the British, considerably more. Yet New Zealand farmers earn less. Labor says we're being ripped off. Its Consumer Affairs spokesperson David Shearer joins me now. David, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, you say we're being ripped off. Is that because you don't know where this money is going?
What we know is that the farmer's getting 70 cents, well, 30 odd cents per litre, but 70 cents for a 2 litre bottle,
Yep.
and we're paying about $3.40. Our milk's going up. Australia and the UK, it's going down, and they're paying a lot less than we are. So somewhere between the farmers and what we pay, there's something going on that we can't work out, but somebody is making some money there.
All right, so your issue is a lack of transparency.
Yeah, a lack of transparency in the fact that about 2 or 3 years ago, when we said our milk was too expensive, the government said, oh, well, that's because the international prices are so high. And we all said, oh, I kind of get that. But now, with prices halving, we expect our milk to go down. Instead, it's gone up. So clearly,
to be fair on the government, David, they're not saying that about milk prices being high anymore. They've got a new reason now. The reason now is price wars, supermarket price wars in Britain and Australia. So essentially, they're saying that these supermarkets are using milk as a lost leader.
Well, first of all, it'd be kind of nice if they did it here anyway, to start with. But secondly, I don't think the Prime Minister can actually say that with any certainty at all, because he doesn't know, because we don't know. We don't know why our milk is so expensive, but we should know, and we should have cheaper milk than we have at the moment. Look, if you can right now at Countdown, you can get two 2-litre bottles of Coke for cheaper than you can get 2-litre bottles of milk. It is wrong that we are paying so much for our milk.
Yeah, I mean, that's a slightly weird argument, isn't it? Because I would imagine it's much cheaper to produce Coke than it is to produce milk. I mean, what you're saying is you've got a harmful product against a product which is arguably healthy, and the harmful product is much cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, look, I grew up, as I'm sure you did, where milk was very cheap. And
it was given away.
It was basically, it was easily available, and it was good for us. Now, a lot of families are saying, well, for me, it's just too expensive to.
All right, so one side, let's talk the per litre. At one side, we've got 38 cents to the farmer, and then we've got a gap before we pay dollars for a litre of milk at the supermarket.
$1.70 odd for 1 litre.
So what do you want to happen?
Well, first of all, I think if the government was so adamant and was so confident about telling us why milk was so expensive a few years ago when the international price was high, they can certainly come back and tell us why prices are still too high.
Why is this a government issue?
Because they gave us the explanation 2 years ago. It was international prices that were driving up the domestic prices. Now it's for them to come back and explain why our prices are so high. But secondly, if that turns out to be they can't do that, then at least they can look at, we should turn to the Commerce Commission and say, explain what's actually going on here, because I don't believe it's right, and I think most New Zealanders would agree with me.
All right, because there are going to be people watching this program and listening to this program now that think this is the power argument all over again, and Labor is going to in some way throw in regulation here.
No, I'm not suggesting that, because to be perfectly honest, all I've done is the analysis, and I know, and as most people know, that this is too expensive. Milk
all you've done
expensive.
is pointed out what is potentially a problem.
What I would like to have is the explanation. Give us the explanation and perhaps there is a good explanation, but I suspect that somewhere along the line with Fonterra and Goodman Fielder
someone
and the producers
is creaming it. For want of a better, someone is
exactly.
You should use that in the next. Oh, did you use that in your press?
Yeah, I think you might have read it actually.
Oh, maybe I did. I knew I got it from somewhere. It's like Hillary's always doing that. She told me this morning that she's actually told gossip to people that told it to her.
That's right.
All right, David, we will take this further. Will we, or will we just forget it? What will we do about the milk thing? Jim, your call.
We should take it further. Milk should be really cheap for every Kiwi to drink.
Excellent,
Thanks, Jim.
Excellent, Jim. He's probably one of yours.
He's a nice guy,
the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
Very quickly, the Dalai Lama. You're a man of the world. Dalai Lama, report card?
Oh, look, the Dalai Lama I see him as a religious leader. So when he sort of goes around the world and he's talking about peace and that sort of thing, and tolerance, that has a big influence over the rest of the world. It's a bit hard to measure.
So are you a fan?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think he's like all religious leaders.
Right,
I think
fair
that's
enough.
good stuff.
It's a personal thing. I'm not going to argue with. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. David, thank you for joining us.
Cheers,
David
Pete.
Shearer.